Alright, so this is our presentation about our game library. The core principles of game design are narrative, mechanics, surprise, reward, level, design, player, character, and challenge. In our game, the core mechanics are the top-down interface where you can see each of the tower or battle strategy, tower defense,
Yeah.
and then so that's
We'll go more into them later whenever we go over each individual aspect of the game. So here's our ideas development page. We started off with the mobile games mostly. See where it says games and then all spiders out. Give examples of what we thought our game could be like for a mobile game. We eventually settled on tower defense. And then wrote some of the concepts we wanted on the bottom right. So for visuals, we wanted to look like, Tron-like, kind of like that vector graphics, that it, like all the lines and bright colors. And like I was trying to make it themed around colors, so different colors would have different aspects. We have an idea for one of the defensive towers at the top left, which is a Tesla tower, which would like act as a slowing field of effect around where it was placed. I can't actually remember.
reskinned medieval weapons, or like medieval weapons with Tron.
Yeah, like ballistas, but like Tron, like future. So here's the summary of what the game is. Our game is called Light Force. The genre is casual mobile tower defense. And the synopsis is Light Force is an up-and-coming mobile tower defense game where you play as the commander trying to stop robotic enemy forces from destroying your base through the placement of unique defensive structures. Light Force tries to set itself apart from other types of games in the same genre with its unique style, the whole Tron thing, because it hasn't been done in ages. It's not a good soundtrack. We're trying to make like that 80s synth, like Stranger Things, that type of music.
Okay.
So all of those should be linked to the individual ones, but we'll just be going through them individually, how it goes. Light Force has a multitude of mechanics. However, they mainly come around with, for the enemies, they come in lanes. You'll have 1 to 3 lanes per level, and they'll be going to your main base at the end. Your goal is to try and stop them from getting there through the placement of structures alongside the lanes. Once the tower takes too much damage, it ends. Game's over, and you lose a life. There's a life-based system, like if you've ever played Candy Crush. The way if you lose a level, you have like 3 lives, and then you have to wait a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
That type of day.
Yeah.
There's a load of different defensive buildings that do different jobs, like the ballista one can penetrate through multiple enemies, the Tesla one slows them, and then you can combine the buildings to like make them do the same, combined job, and also change the color of them, because depending on the color of the enemy you're trying to attack, depends how good your tower does against it. Like a blue tower is going to do better against blue colored enemies, that type of thing.
The level design, and this is very simple. So we came up with the 2D design of what the Tron games were like in the movies, and then we liked the whole, obviously the colour scheme. So on the 80s, obviously synth music ties in with that as well. So the enemies come from left to right, so it's easy to see which one you are, and they also have different colours than what you've picked. Obviously pre-game, so you know who you are and who you should be attacking. You have limited amount of tiles that you can place, so that means you can't take over too much too quickly, and
you can't just place everything everywhere and completely lock down the game, so as soon as the enemies come in, they're immediately destroyed. You only have like 9 places where you can put the towers.
Yeah, and
As you progress through the game, AI will become increasingly more difficult, and enemies will take more damage, and there'll be like different types. Like you could have an enemy that has like every couple of seconds it'll do a big slam wheel around, and that'll like, you know, freeze all the buildings around it for a couple of seconds. This, you know, aims down more difficulty, and so there's challenges set during the week to try and offer some rewards. Later on in the reward part, we have buffs, which act as like in-game. They kind of just help you a little bit. Like you use energy to place buildings, and it could give you like 1,000 energy or whatever. So you can place a couple buildings, upgrade a couple buildings, combine a few. To, you know, if you're struggling a bit near the start of a level, if it's too hard for you, you can help with that. So whenever you overcome these like the weekly challenges, which will be harder than your normal level, you're rewarded for it, which then the reward part and all that. This is to try and make the game more engaging, so it isn't just an absolute breeze to push through the game and you get no excitement from overcoming levels.
So surprise comes from, in Life Force, comes from the levels in themselves, and so from each of the stages in the game there's a boss, and there's 5 of these boss battles. The bosses are obviously more difficult than the main or the other AI that you've been in that stage, and so there's a drop off. You know, some people won't be able to beat it at that point at the end of the game or at the end of the stage. So it requires a bit more focus and a bit more strategy. So, and you can't just rush through the game, you know, and clock it in like whatever time.
It is to try and slow down the pace, because you can only bring certain. I don't know, we keep referring it to other games, but you know, we're trying to come up with close things can relate to that these can. You know, in Plants vs Zombies, you can only pick a certain amount of, you know, types to defend your garden with. That we're having the same. You can only pick like 6 defensive buildings, which all serve different purposes. So for certain bosses, you're going to need certain buildings, but you won't know that the first time around. So it's aimed to slow down the game.
And then as the boss get harder, the rewards also get better as well to keep it.
Because bosses will also give you the boss I talked about earlier, you know, give you energy, AoE freeze type of thing. Right, Light Force's reward system involves the buff things, you know, the buffs I mentioned earlier, and we're also going to allow players to download the soundtrack from the game, because you know how much everyone loves the 80s synth stuff nowadays with Stranger Things and all that. So every 10 levels they complete, we'll allow them to download one song from the soundtrack, you know, like directly to their phone, so they can play it when they're offline at home, you know, or at work, if they like the music. We also are going to create a couple like animated you know, little graphical pieces for use as phone backgrounds, and they'll be unlocked every 20 levels or so.
Very good.
So, you know, try and give some reward to the players other than just in-game stuff.
Yeah.
The main character is like the commander of the team, but in the pre-game you see your mate, like a real person, putting on the VR the way it is in Tron. You know, it's like a sophisticated VR machine. So you put that on and you see yourself in like your player character in cutscenes with your text underneath. It's not like real-time, you know, cutscenes. So it's just a small sprite, and you also see yourself pointing, you know, when you're placing towers and things, and you can see yourself pointing to where they should be placed.
Your little player character will be at the end of the level in the tower, so like for example, like you could place a structure in a tile and you'll like do that, and then like it'll slowly build up. Or if your tower get text damage, you're like freaked out. You want to do that?
The narrative follows the commander in a game from the 90s. This commander is being controlled through an advanced version of VR in an alternate universe. The commander must persevere through many trials and tribulations to achieve victory. Each stage of the game, you must destroy the enemy team's towers before they destroy yours, which results in a victory. The player can be rewarded in various ways for doing these. So that's the weekly multi-challenges and boss battles. That's it.